Final hour overdrive continues. Brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Bryan Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan. A lot of buzz at the Hayes household today. My oldest, Everly, she ran cross country, did great.
Wow.
Did a phenomenal job, and I can't run. Like, oh, you've seen us. Although I dusted you when we ran that 10K.
There was.
But
Just had to bring that up. It's a nice story about your kids, and then you have to tell it.
I'm just saying. The point I was trying to make was I'm not much of a long-distance runner.
You just said last hour you were Ricky Henderson around the bases.
Yeah, that's 90 feet, dude. I can swipe a bag.
Well,
I'm not running 10K.
Didn't we have the OverDrive Olympics in here? Wasn't there a treadmill brought in here?
Yes, we did have a treadmill.
And you were wearing like a headband and a muscle shirt.
I think
I think Steph was the MC of it.
Yeah, Steph was on the air. Steph was the MC. We all ran. I think we all actually did pretty well.
There was like a push-up challenge or a sit-up challenge here as well.
That's right. Well, anyway, long story short, I don't know where she inherited the abilities to run cross-country, but great job. Shout out.
Nailed it. Awesome.
Did she take home the gold medal?
No, there were like 250 kids. She placed in the, I think, 54th or 56th, which is really strong. She's young, one of the youngest kids, and
that's awesome.
She's moving on. Next week's the real deal Holyfield, so
love it.
I'll be there. Not allowed to cheer. My kids are very adverse to like
cheering,
I guess.
You can't like be loud and make an ass of yourself. Yeah. Like you don't want to be one of those people.
No.
Is it at Centennial Park?
It might be. I'm not really sure. I guess
if
I got to
it
find
is,
that
let
out.
me know and I'll come out and support.
There you go. Attaboy, a little team player. I love it.
That's
that'll be happening next week. So I'll let you know. I got to find out where that is. Dreg's coming up here in a moment. Jays Yankees tonight. Jennifer Hedger from the park. Garrett Cole is terrifying. Let's call it what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to win ball games. You got to register hits. They had 3 hits last night. They got skunked. Now you got Jerry Cole on the mound. It's not going to get easier tonight. But Barrios has been outstanding at home. And we'll see what Hedge can tell us about the buzz down there. Packed house. The Jays are down there, right? Matthews and Marner and
I love
Nylander
the idea of getting the crowd going when the pitcher is just – that pitcher has been a thorn. Like the last 2 outings for that kid last night and the one in New York. He was dialed in.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. Against the Jays in particular, the guy has been like Cy Young caliber stuff.
The last 2 times he's on the mound, I'm like, get him out and get to the bullpen.
Yes.
Like,
that's right.
Because they won the game when the bullpen came in New York, and I was just hoping for the same last night.
Yep, that's right. And so, yeah, we got that going on. We got Damian Lillard was traded. We've talked a lot about that today. Teams in the East. We talked about the Raptors, but I think it's Miami that's really going to be real in here, right?
Yeah.
Like he wanted to go to Miami. It was publicly stated, go to Miami. I think if you're the NBA's front office, like if you're Adam Silver, you're ecstatic he didn't end up there. Ecstatic, because they've got to stop these superstar players dictating where they're going to go. And I think they got to be so happy. It's Giannis, it's Dame, it's a small market, it's Milwaukee.
Well, if I'm an owner, I'll say, you know what, I'll deal with your trade request, but it's not going to be where you want.
Right.
No way.
That's probably the better way to look at it. You got to be loving Portland today. Saying who cares where he wants to go? You get the best package you can get. Pat Riley's shortchanging you. Don't trade him there.
No, but
and he didn't.
He had to have known at some point them saying, "Okay, Milwaukee's in play. You're going to show up there, right? You're not like you don't just go. You're traded to Milwaukee. Like Giannis would have called him." There was some collusion in the background. The agent would have said, hey, Milwaukee's making a push. Giannis threw a text. However it works. Bottom line is he doesn't wake up and just go, oh, they traded me to Milwaukee. He knew that was coming.
He was probably aware of it. And Milwaukee sniffed it out and probly said, is this guy going to show up?
Exactly.
And he's going to show up and he'll be a player. And if he's in it to win it, he should be. He should be ecstatic today.
Right.
All right, Darren Dreger coming up here in a moment. Easton Cowan's playing tonight
down
in St. Thomas, right?
Of course he is.
The Easton Cowan Showcase at the Joe Thornton Community Center.
Not the Memorial Center, yeah.
No, I mean, usually he's playing down the street in London where the Knights play.
I want to see the kid play and play hard and continue to have a great camp. But I'm not changing my stance. The guy could get a hat trick tonight and beat up the mascot and do everything else he needs to do.
Right.
I do believe he needs to be drafted and developed the right way.
Go back to London, regardless of what happens.
Exactly. London's a great program.
His goal is very simple. Have another great game and get one more game in.
Absolutely. Which is great. Like, this is good. The fact that we're talking about a young kid who's been drafted and you're not trying to, some people are trying to force feed him into the lineup. Others who are reasonable are going, yes, let him continue to have a nice training camp and look great. And, to me, young guys get force-fed into the lineup when the team isn't that strong. That's not the case here.
Yeah.
So,
that's true, right? And you're selling almost to your fans like this is.
There's
the
hope right there.
There's some hope.
Your future right there. Don't need that.
Obviously not necessary for the Leafs.
Right.
They're not in that position. So I would expect he'll be back in London, possibly by the weekend. But who knows? They still got a week and a half left.
Exactly.
Opening night's 2 weeks tonight. They still got a long time.
That might be the best thing for that kid who you might think is like a couple years down the road to spend the whole training camp here. Watch great players, learn from great players, figure out what it really takes, what it's really like. Like it's a real kind of sniff of what's going on.
Absolutely. It's a confidence
as opposed
builder.
to just be like, I was there for a couple of days and I'm back in junior.
Yeah.
Let him stay the whole damn training camp.
He'll learn a lot over 2 weeks. His play will improve. You guys, I'm sure, can speak to it. When you first got to camp, when you went to big World Junior camps or whatever, you came back with a level of confidence that wasn't there before because you had never experienced it before.
Well, and you see another level of what you believe is achievable or how hard you have to work to get there consistently. So It gives you a clear picture of what you need to do to get there.
For sure.
So, you come back with a ton of confidence.
Here's Darren Dreger, our TSN Hockey Insider. How are you handling this Easton Cowan hype, Dregs?
Yeah, not well. I'm okay with it. Yeah, I mean, look, I love the fact that this young man has showed up at camp and he's more than ready to go, and he's making a name for himself and he's showing that he's capable. But holy smokes, can we please pump the brakes? Like, it is the National Hockey League. The Toronto Maple Leafs have a deep roster, or they appear to have a deep roster. I mean, if this kid is playing in the National Hockey League a year from now or 2 years from now, I think that's a good thing. But he's taking advantage of his opportunity. So Easton Cowan deserves all the credit in the world, all the hype, and even the discussion that he's going to be in their lineup beyond 10 games of the regular season. That I'm not buying that.
Well, Dregs, we were just saying, it might be the best thing for the kid. He's going to play in junior this year, but let him stay the whole camp if he can, because that let him soak it up and learn about going on a road trip and being a pro and what to eat and what to wear, how to act, blah, blah, blah. Let him do it all for 2 weeks and then go back to London.
Agreed. And there's enough to celebrate here. I mean, the young man has made his presence felt, and he's challenging. He wants everybody to know that he's going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf in the not too distant future. But I mean, some of the things I'm reading and I'm hearing, is he challenging for a spot? I mean, I guess if he goes through the preseason and he has 5 or 6 goals, and he's proven that he's worth more than an extended look. But honestly, are we being real here? Like, where are they putting him in this lineup? Where are they putting him? I 100% agree. He's going to be in junior. That's why I hesitate, and I'm kind of stumbling through this conversation because I don't want to, I don't want to throw shade at the kid. He's having a tremendous training camp, and looks he's going to have a good preseason. But how about we just allow him to develop through, the natural way of developing, and maybe he'll be a real good Toronto Maple Leaf in the not too distant future.
Yeah, and that's the role of the Leafs, though, right? Like, I don't have any issue with fans being excited. They should be. That's what they're excited, and he's a first-round pick, and it's a really cool story for him. But it comes down to the team philosophy, and the philosophy has been really since Shanahan arrived that they allow these kids to almost over-ripen, and I think that's a smart strategy, and I would expect that continues. But this is a camp. You know what it's like, Dregs. Like, you've been there day one of camps in the past where it was a gong show. There's nothing to this camp other than can we get through it and get to opening night. So I think Cowan has supplied a little bit of excitement on that front at a minimum. But there's other stuff going on around the league as well. We saw today Michael Backlund sign a 2-year extension in Calgary, 4.5. I find what's more interesting is he was anointed captain today, which means all 7 Canadian teams have had captains now, and there's been, 3 in the last few weeks? Winnipeg Vancouver and now Calgary.
Yeah. And it's, if we just zero in on Calgary for a moment, and, again, I'm not trying to kick dirt at Daryl Sutter or Brad Trilby, who's now in Toronto. I mean, Brad was ready for a change, so he embraced it, and he's moved on to a new challenge. Daryl Sutter historically is going to go down as a terrific NHL player, excellent coach, general manager, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But the vibe is different in Calgary. And, the players feel it, or they say they're feeling it through training camp and preseason. Let's see how that changes in the regular season. There's a ton of pressure on this Flames organization, but more so on the roster. So, Ryan Husky and the coaching staff of the Calgary Flames have come in, and they've empowered their veteran guys. And it starts with the big money guys. It starts with, Huberdeau, and it starts with Nazem Kadri. And then you've got the uncertainty of what might happen with Lindholm. And now we know what's going on with Michael Backlund. Backlund wanted to stay in Calgary. He just wanted to make sure that things were set up so that he could continue to be the leader that he is. And I think it's a fair deal, 4.5 times 2. At his age, given the numbers that he posted last year, I think he can be effective for the next 2 years. His leadership, for me, is unquestioned. So I think this is a big sign, but I don't think that Flames fans should be too eager on Lindholm or anyone else in the near future. I think there's tougher negotiations ahead.
Yeah, it feels like that's going to be an overarching story in Calgary all year, Winnipeg all year with Hellebuck and Scheifele. And yet both teams, Winnipeg barely made it in. They got smoked in the first round. Calgary missed. Like you would think both organizations would prefer to just concentrate on 82 games and making the playoffs.
Winnipeg is kind of like, I swore last year, guys, I would not get on their bandwagon again and call them any type of favorite. But they might have kind of a fresh little look with some of the new guys on the scene. I'm telling you, Hazy B, watch out for those Jets.
All right.
Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, and Noodles and I talked about this earlier today. I'm on the side of maybe they'll surprise some people, and that's exactly the lane that the Winnipeg Jets want to be in. They're trying to sign Mark Scheifele. There's been discussions between Scheifele and the Jets, likewise with Connor Hellebuck and the Jets, and I think there's ample reason for that. I think that this offseason was hard on those guys. I don't know what they expected. Scheifele probably thought that there was going to be a trade that would surface, and it really didn't. Winnipeg has to get appropriate return because he had another year left, and likewise for Connor Hellebuck. So now these guys are back there, and they're going, okay, well, wait a second. Maybe it's okay to sign here. So let's have those conversations. And those conversations are happening. For me, they're important conversations, and those are important contracts because if you don't get those two guys signed, now you're leaning on your young players making a big difference. This is a big year for Cole Perfetti. It's a big year for any of those young guys coming up. But you've got Josh Morrissey under contract. I mean, this guy is proven. You've got Kyle Connor under contract. He's proven. If you lose or you have to move Mark Scheifele or Connor Hellebuck at the trade deadline or they walk for free, oh boy, then you're really tearing it right down to the wood in that organization. Nobody there wants to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you look through Canada, the only team that I think we all know, is that the Montreal Canadiens, they are where they are right now. I think they're going to be better than they were last year, but they're not a playoff team for me. Vancouver's intriguing for me. Calgary's intriguing for me. Winnipeg's intriguing for me based on what they were last year and what they could potentially be. But then they've got that, that floor where it's like, okay, if this drops off, what is going to happen going forward next year?
Is Ottawa in that group for you?
I'm bullish on Ottawa.
I know you are. And you're not alone. A lot of people
I think Ottawa is a playoff team this year, but again, it comes back to the lip service can't be there. They got to go do it. I've watched them grow the last couple of years. It all comes down to their start, saves, all of that type
Agreed.
of stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think they're a better team and they're better equipped to handle the ups and downs of a season this year.
So, and I agree with you. I 100% do. I guess I'm a little bit confused by, hey, Michael Andlauer just took over ownership officially. And Pierre Dorian as GM has done a good amount of solid work there. The fact that they've left the Shane Pinto thing hang in the weeds the way they have, I don't understand. I don't know. Pierre LeBrun talked about this on Insider Trading last night. Like, the sweet spot seems to be at 2.5 on a bridge.
Right.
Like, get it done. Like, so you got to move somebody out. I mean, the name, it seems to be Matthew Joseph. Well, guys, you know better than I do. Brian, you included, because you've been through a number of training camps.
Right.
Like, don't you feel like...
There it is, Dregs.
No, I'll take it. You got yourself, and I appreciate that. Continue, Dregs.
Sorry. But do you not feel like, okay, you can get through training camp, no big deal. But doesn't a guy like Shane Pinto, who, the coaching staff have not penciled in, he's written in a Sharpie as their third-line center. It'd be great to get him back into the mix for, 3-4 exhibition games to get them ready for the regular season, because they've got a great schedule, right? I mean, so many home dates to start. And as you alluded to, Noodles, I mean, that's kind of been their Achilles heel, has been their sluggish starts on teams that have always had question marks throughout them. No question marks now, other than a little bit of cleanup work that needs to get done by the manager.
Yeah. Hayes and I were talking about this off air before the show. I forgot that these teams are going to Sweden. Like this.
Yeah.
I've always been kind of, I don't love it.
Yeah.
I know it's great for the league.
It's all stupid. I don't care what they're promoting or what they're doing. It's a long season, man. A lot of travel. Got guys in Australia playing exhibition games, and now they're going to Sweden. I don't get it, man.
Like that, and it's not like, hey, we went there during training camp. It's in November. Like the Ottawa Senators, their start is so critical, and they're going over there. Like I get it, but I also I'm a bit concerned because trips like that, they can go well. You can go over there and win a couple games and come back. But if you go over and then the time zone, and that's what worries me. And the Leafs are going too,
yeah,
right?
they are. And it's the first time they've done it in a long, long time. They've done it once before, I want to say in the 90s.
Right.
But like the Australia thing, that to me, I didn't understand at all. Like, does the NHL think there's a market in Australia?
What are you doing? Unless the players asked for it and said they want to go tee it up at Royal Melbourne, what the hell are you doing down under?
You're growing the game. That's what you're doing. You're growing the game.
I don't see it happening, man. I just don't see it happening.
Jesus.
That one made no sense to me.
Zero, man. Zero.
Yeah, like the ice wasn't in properly. Do you see that?
No.
They couldn't
Yeah,
even
well, there
practice
was.
at one
I
point.
think there was some hairy moments there where it was like, okay, we're a little concerned here, but they pulled it off. I watched some of the games; it looked good. The product looked.
Wow,
decent.
was it Logan Cooley who had that one goal?
Oh
That
my
was like
God,
incredible.
that was ridiculous. But you know what? The league is trying. They're trying to grow the game, but that's an exhibition game. It's a throwaway.
Yes,
I'm talking November, and you've got a critical pivot. Yeah, real points. That's what always concerned me as a player. Like, just, all right, if it's out of the norm where everyone else is going to be back here in time zones or close to it, that one's going to be a little bit of an outlier for these organizations.
No doubt. Nah, it'll be tough for those guys for sure.
Well, I saw you on Insider Trading saying that the NHL, they're all happy and it's all good with the rules and stuff, Dregs. Like, they're not changing anything. Everyone's in a good spirit. That's good to hear.
No, I mean, and I feel like that maybe is a bit of a media reaction. Like, it's a slow September, right? Aside from the restricted free agents, which we've kind of dabbled on. You've got the Patrick Kane story still looming and all that. It's dry. So what do we in the media world do? Not you guys, but most media, like, you're covering teams. You need to come up with storylines. What about not being able to ice the puck on the penalty kill? Like, why don't they do that immediately? I mean, managers and hockey ops guys talk about these things all the time, But the messaging that I'm getting is that, the game is pretty good. Scoring is on the rise. Talk about getting better. Maybe look at things that you want to monitor moving forward, but stop with the tinkering and the knee-jerk stuff.
All right. I like
Dregs,
it.
I just got a question about the Patty Kane video.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, but he's the last guy that I need to see a video of skating. You know what I mean? That seems like a video for the journeyman guy that needs a contract or a tryout. Like Pat Brisson tells me that Patty Kane's good. I'll take his word for it, and I'll take my chances. Like,
fair enough, and I get that, but you know what? Like, if it wasn't Patty Kane playing for the New York Rangers last year, it was just some middle of the road forward, I think he'd have been obliterated, and likewise with the team, because he had no mobility. And I don't know if he's ever been, kind of, you guys tell me, he wasn't noted as being a gifted skater. He was just tricky, and he had enough speed to be effective and all those things. I think they put it out there just to show that, he's good to go. So we'll see what kind of market develops over this.
Yeah. Would you anticipate a 1-year show-me deal, Dregs? Like, give me league minimum, I'll play for a winner, and then try to cash in again?
That guy ain't playing for league minimum.
No.
Come on.
Why not?
No.
He barely. He just had major hip surgery. He's sending out videos like you said, like he's looking for a PTO.
Start with 5 sheets and we'll
no
maybe
chance.
talk.
No
Come on.
chance. 5
5
sheets.
sheets or I stay on the couch then.
Go ahead.
Take your pick.
Stay on the couch. What team has $5 million for Patrick Kane?
No, it's going to be an injury, and you look at it, it's going to be a major injury to a top-tier player or something like that, an LTIR situation where they can make it $5 million.
Well, that's possible.
Because he's not coming back tomorrow. They're not, like, he's going to be back. Drake's, realistically, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but he's 4 months into his rehab. It's a 4 to 6 months, so I'm leaning more to 6 months and saying, he'd be ready by end of October into November type of thing. No?
Yeah, November is what he's looking at. I like what Pat Brisson told me yesterday, his agent, is that they're not going to begin with select interviews until mid to late October. So,
what is select interviews? Does that mean like the Vinny LeCavalier set up in New York where there's a lounge and people can come in?
Maybe.
Remember that where people were just doing the outrageous in New York?
Oh, God. Well, go down the list. Brad Richards, like how many teams did that? Like, no, I mean, given the decorated resume of Patty Kane and the fact that he believes that, they're trying to prove that he can still play at a high level. He wants to win a Stanley Cup. He's chasing a Stanley Cup. So when I say select, it's going to be cap space. It's going to be right fit. Maybe geography is involved. I don't know, but we're a month away from really digging into it.
All right, Dregs. We'll leave it there, buddy. We'll do it again soon. Thank you for this.
Hey, how would you like to see Kane on the right side with Willie at center? Why wouldn't that be? That'd be a good thing.
I agree with you. And Easton Cowan on the left side.
Exactly.
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm just saying.
What a line. What a line,
that
Drakes. Yes.
What a line.
The new
Dregs.
hound line. I love it.
You're on to something. Thank you, Dregs.
Hey, boys. Have a good one.
Darren Dreger, TSN Hockey Insider. We didn't ask him if he thinks McDavid will hit 154 in his career, but we assume he'd probably say yes.
You're getting crushed online everywhere. I feel bad for you.
I know I am.
bad.
I'm getting
Feel bad for you.
I'm getting crushed because I think 154 points is just a bit too much
Bit rich for you.
for Connor McDavid. Just a bit.
That's
Not
all right.
much. Again, let me clarify. I don't think he falls off a cliff. I think he has 50-plus goals and 137 points.
Well, you might have to do your like FanDuel odds or whatever for McDavid.
Sure. Yeah, I could
over
set
under
that.
type of thing. I think Franklin sent me a note, said it's only like 100, not only. FanDuel has it at 137 and a half
Yeah,
points.
that sounds right. What did I just say?
What did you say?
Did I say 137? Dude,
you
that's
must have read that.
This is the second time my degenerate brain has kicked into high gear. I'm not kidding you. I was doing a hit with Gino and Marty, and I was talking to Marty. I'm like, hey, how about those Bills? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, big game this week, Miami. He's like, you got to bet the over, right? I'm like, yeah, what is it? And I blurt out, I'm like, I bet you it's like 53 and a half.
Yeah.
He's like, well, look it up. I look it up. It's 53 and a half on the
No
nose.
way. You are. That's your
And
casino
I just
training
said
from-
137, and the total's 137.5.
It is.
I am morphing in to Sam Rothstein
You are.
on the air.
Every time we talk to you today, all you say is, "Well, I was just doing a hit with Gino."
That's not
It's
true.
Boy,
just
is a name
Jesus,
dropper, right?
we
That's
get
Boy,
it.
is he a name
I know.
dropper.
Not
I was
true.
I
chatting
know.
with Dreger
Not
early.
true.
Had a,
Not
like this
true.
Every
guy is-
topic, it's like, well, I was actually just talking to Gino about that on the Sports Center set.
Yeah.
I literally was doing that with Marty, and I had to reference it to point out the second level of degeneracy
Just
in the
like-
last 3 hours.
Just literally.
I don't like getting hit with that tooting sound, man. That tooting sound stings.
There was name dropping. There was a lot of name dropping recently.
That was more of a Sports Center
talking to the
dropping.
bar down crew, Jesse. Like all you're doing is just.
Yeah. Hey, you were out there. At
I
the big
was.
ball
It was
hockey
great. I was
game. You
watching
were
the ball
moving and
hockey game.
shaking and kissing babies and doing
I
the
was,
whole thing.
but I didn't play. I'm retired. I can't do it.
Yeah, I didn't. I couldn't play either because I'm going to be in a suit and stuff. Like, how am I
Wow. I
going
guess
to
you
be on
could've.
TV? How's that going to work?
Well, Cheryl Pounder played, and I believe she's working tonight. So
Actually, that's true. Lindsay, I saw too. She was playing and she's working.
yeah,
Gino was playing actually.
Gino was reffing.
Oh, Gino was reffing.
Gino was reffing before you and him had,
Yeah,
your
we had a
visit.
little Bills talk with Marty,
Love it.
among other things.
Yeah.
All right, Jennifer Hedger. I saw Hedge earlier too. I've already
there
I
you go.
referenced that. I saw
Just
Hedge.
dropping names.
Yeah, I saw Hedge. I saw Lindsay, Gino, Marty, the whole crew.
All right.
Hedge will join us from the park. Jays Yankees tonight. Garrett Cole on the mound versus Jose Barrios. When Hedge is in attendance, it generally doesn't go well for the
Not
Blue
going good.
Jays. We'll ask her why she's down there and what she can expect tonight. Catch up with Jennifer Hedger, and we'll do that next.
Shout out to Terry Francona. Tito. I think he's packing her in this year.
Is that right?
I think he's having his final home game tonight,
Okay.
getting cheered loudly. Now, that guy's a baseball legend.
Yep,
he is.
absolutely, man. The manager, the guy who ended the curse, right? Like, you end that curse, you are a legend.
That is
2004, and then he went home to Cleveland. He won a couple of World Series for Boston. And, I'm seeing that now. You're right. Out in Cleveland. Terry Francona, that's it. See you later, packing his bags. What a run. What a career. What a career.
Hat tip to Tito.
Absolutely. Hat tip to Tito, for sure. And when he left, John Farrell, right? Swept in there and greased the Blue Jays. Remember Johnny Farrell?
Greasy weasel. He didn't
Why
win a
was he
world.
a
He did
weasel?
win a
He
World
did win a
Series.
World Series.
He absolutely
The
won a
year
World
after
Series.
he left the Blue Jays.
That's right. His
But
first
why is
year
he
there.
a weasel?
Well,
left
Maybe
because-
Hedge wasn't there.
That's
That's why they won the World Series.
Possibly
Messing with
what
his
happened.
mojo.
Yeah, maybe that's what we need to do. Send Hedge on the road, right? Get Hedge down to Tampa or Baltimore or something.
Yeah.
Here's Jennifer Hedger, who's down at the Rogers Center, and when Hedge is at the Rogers Center, things don't go so well for the home team. Are you getting like catcalls down there? Are people yelling and screaming at you, or what, Hedge?
It's starting to become an issue, boys. It is
Wow.
starting to become a problem here around the Rogers Center. Specifically, actually, there was a table of Blue Jays camera operators having some dinner in the media center, and they're like, we don't know how to say this. We don't want you to take this personal, but seems like every time you're here, the Jays lose. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of hasn't working out that way, guys.
Yeah.
It's like the impact I'm having. It's not great. I got to
No.
tell you, we try to figure it out. So, and I come down here. Obviously, I want to be here to cover the Blue Jays. I love baseball. I love this team. We want to amplify our coverage here on Sports Center and get all hands on deck to really pump up this team. But between last year when I covered like the last game of the season and then that just horrendous 2 games against the Seattle Mariners for the wild card, which, it was historically terrible, that collapse. And then this year I was here for opening day. I was here for the trade deadline, the series against the Rangers last week. I'm here this week. I'm 2-9 right now. The Jays are 2-9 with me in the building in some of their most high leverage games. And I will be here until Friday. Now, the good news is I will not be.
No.
I am. I said to the Jays crew, I'm like, guys, don't worry. I'm like, I'm not I'm not going to Mini or Tampa or wherever the Jays are going to be playing the wild card series. They're like, we got to make the wild card first. We need to actually get there, and the rate we're going, it's not going to happen with you in this barn.
Yeah.
So I understand. I mean, obviously, curse has got to end at some point. You guys were just talking about the Boston curse. What was that, 90-something years?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we're not going to have to wait that long. But, yeah, it's been weird. I don't know, man. I don't know why they can't win when I'm here, but the Yankees sure like it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, well, you would expect so, right? I mean, Garrett Cole, he's just got a vibe to him, doesn't he, Hedge? This year, his statistics are off the charts. He's leading in every statistical category that matters in the American League. He's going to run away with the Cy Young. But yet he's still adding to that Cy Young pursuit, I guess, a resume this year. And I would expect he pitches really well. And when you consider the Jays only had 3 hits last night and the building was dead because there was just no life, I can't imagine Cole is the remedy to start getting the bats heated up tonight.
This is the thing. I'm looking ahead to the schedule this week. I'm like, okay, King. Hopefully the Jays can beat King. I'm like, Cole's going to be tough. Cole's probably going to be a win for the Yankees. And then the Jays will take three or four from the Yankees. So if there was a game that I expected the Jays to draw, it's tonight with Cole on the mound, especially, they faced him last week in the Bronx. I think he went 8 innings. They did not get, I think they might have got 1 hit off of Cole, but they didn't score a run. He has been absolutely nails. And this is the exclamation point. This is the game that he wants to pitch his ass off, go 8-9 innings, and as Keegan Matheson said, he's going to be up there like a bull with a ring through his nose, just snorting and sniffing and heaving and coughing and doing all the stuff that he does to show what a bull he is. And this is where he's hoping to solidify the campaign. So if I was a betting woman, if I was a FanDuel betting woman, I don't think I'd be putting my money on the Jays tonight, which means the cooler may strike again.
Any concern about Jordan Romano's play recently?
Well, there's concern about the play. I mean, he's coming off 2 of his worst outings of the season. He had that fingernail issue last week, and he got pulled from the game where he blew the save last week, and they said I was just dealing with something, but not to worry. And then when he went in last night and had the rough outing, I asked Schneider before the game today, is Romano available? And he said, yeah. And I said, is that finger an issue at all? He said, no issue. He did say he's been pitching a lot. So, if they don't go to Romano tonight, maybe it's because he has been pitching quite a bit lately. But I mean, he's your closer. If you're in a safe situation and they need the win, and they do need the win right now, you would think they would go to their top guy. It's just, I guess, deciding if they think he has it in him tonight. But the other part of it is he's got to get in there at some point and get the win. So the longer you deny him being able to turn it around, the longer it might linger. But closer's a tough job, man. You got to have a short memory, and we'll see if they are at least in the situation tonight. To be in a safe situation, you got to score a run, and they've had trouble doing that.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, right? Last night, yes, he didn't have himself a good ninth, but they didn't score any runs. They didn't lose last night because of Jordan Romano. They lost because the offense couldn't come alive. And, I think it's going to be difficult to do that again tonight. Yet, Seattle and Houston are playing. Someone's going to lose ball games tonight. Texas is playing. Someone's going to lose ball games tonight. So the Jays, as much as it is about them focused on their own doings, as it should be, they can still kind of backdoor their way in here, Hedge.
Yeah, they've been getting, they have been getting some help. And when they lost that Texas series and it seemed like all was for naught, they were able to win some games, but they've also been getting some help from these other teams in the race. It sort of seems like, I don't know, do you want to go? No, I don't want to go. No, you go first. No, you go first. Nobody's really taken this end of the season and just run with it and left anybody in the dust. So, which is good news for the Toronto Blue Jays because they haven't done it either, but it just sort of seems like everybody's tap dancing around right now. The Jays could just fire off a few wins here, then they'd be done with it, and then they can, let Vladdy have a break here and make sure that Gausman is ready to pitch Game 1 of the wild card series. I know last night, when you're talking about not scoring runs, I think it was bases loaded, and there's Vladdy up at the plate and hits into the double play, and we looked it up. He's hit into 22 double plays this season. It was like ranked in the top 5 in Major League Baseball. Like, it just, when one of those things happens, you're like, man, I feel like that happens all the time. And then we look it up, and it's like, yeah, it kind of has been. It's just they gotta figure out how to manufacture some runs.
Hedge, is Judge gonna put his gear on and smash a ball that lands in Lake Ontario, or what's up with him? He looked like he was at the Cactus Club till 4 a.m. the other night. Seeing him on the dugout last night, he just looked all like.
Dude, I think he was like, and that's what I was excited to come down yesterday. I'm like, oh, I get to see Judgy in person here. I want to see what of a mountain of a man this dude is. And the guys are coming out for BP. I'm like, where's Judge? Where's Judge? And then the lineup comes out, no Judge. So, yeah, he is in the lineup, though, tonight, which is kind of cool, too, for the Jays fans to come down here. Like, I know you're rooting for the whole team, but everybody wants to see, or for the home team, but everybody wants to see Aaron Judge. Mm-hmm. And the dome's not open yet, though, so let me take a peek here. I don't know if he's going to be able to hit the lake or not, but he might be able to hit the 500 level here.
That dude is gigantor. Yeah. Kevin Biggio was standing beside him at first base in New York, and he looked like he was 5'4".
Yeah,
I know. He's an absolute mountain, like just perfectly formed. Like he's not, and it's almost kind of like Shohei, right? Like some guys you see that are really tall and big, and they just look like they might trip over their own feet, but not Judge, man. He's just a perfectly formed human being. And if I sound like I might have been staring, I was.
Yeah, you'll be staring at him tonight in the batter's box. He's hitting second, Hedge. And you put a little curse on him tonight, right? Just walk by him and see what you can do about that.
Do my little angel of death hat. Yes. I'll do my best.
Yes, the Grim Reaper herself down at the park. Thank you, Hedge. We appreciate it. Enjoy it tonight.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
There's Jennifer Hedger. Of course, we're joking around. Jennifer is a professional, and she's just down there doing her job. But when she goes down and she's at the game,
say 2-9. Look at
this guy.
He's just a massive human being.
Huge.
Aaron Judge. Because Kevin Biggio is a pretty big boy himself.
Yes.
Like he's 6'9", 280.
I don't know.
You know, like he's just a giant, and for him to turn on baseballs and just
it's awesome.
Man, he's a machine. And this year it's been injury riddled, right?
Yeah, it's awesome to watch him work, though, when he's healthy and stuff.
And Hedge is right about Shohei Ohtani. Like, Ohtani is massive.
Yeah.
He's like 6'4", 240.
Yeah.
Built like a linebacker.
Man. Yeah.
All right, we'll get to our best bets brought to you by FanDuel. We've been doing this all week. Jerry Seinfeld, right? Comedy icon himself. Jerry Seinfeld will be performing live May 10th at Casino Rama. Here's your chance to win a pair of tickets to the show. 416-870-1050. That's the phone number. Caller 10 right now gets to call in and chat with the Grappler and pick up a pair of tickets to see Jerry Seinfeld up at Rama. 416-870-1050. 416-870-1050. Caller 10 right now going to see Jerry Seinfeld. Tickets pre-sale is on now. On sale starts Friday at 12 p.m. at Ticketmaster.ca. That's Ticketmaster.ca. Jerry Seinfeld up at Casino Rama. Again, May 10th. Find tickets, Ticketmaster.ca. More tickets to give away later this week as well. Jays Yankees tonight. The Leafs are playing Buffalo down in St. Thomas. Week 4 of the NFL tomorrow. We got our best bets brought to you by FanDuel still to come. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, today's best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Looking at the baseball slate tonight. See the Cubs last night? That was sickening. They're fighting for their lives. They had that game. Fly ball center field. They drop it. Runs get scored. They lose 7-6 to Atlanta, and Atlanta's home free. It's over. Atlanta didn't need that win last night. The Cubs did. I think the Cubs respond tonight. I'll take them on the run line, plus 1.5. You got to play juice on that, but I think the Cubs probably win, but I'll give myself a little bit of leeway there with the plus 1.5. I'll buy the half run. Under the number in the Jays game tonight, it's only 7, but the way these bats have been operating and the way these pitchers have been pitching, Barrios at home and Jerry Cole.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet the under. It's going to be a dicey one. 7 is such a low number.
Yeah.
But I'll bet the under. And I'm on Houston to respond against Seattle tonight. Houston gets a win tonight. All right, today's best bets powered by FanDuel. The first inning means as much as the 9th when you bet baseball on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. You must be 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. All right, Leafs in action down in St. Thomas.
Buffalo, get a little peek at Buffalo.
Buffalo tonight. Yeah, Buffalo, man. Buffalo's making noise, right? You got Bills, Dolphins this week. The Buffalo Sabres are hoping to make a big step.
I mean,
listen, if Ottawa's going to get in, which a lot of people believe they will, if Buffalo gets in, you're talking two teams coming
that
out.
come out.
That's things are going to change.
It's
That's
massive.
pro sports. It's
there
cyclical.
will be a changing of the guard. There will be top teams that take a step back. There'll be teams that were at the lower end that take a step forward.
Well, people are concerned about Florida with the injuries they have from the Stanley Cup Finals. I think it's Ekblad and Montour.
Yeah. The reality of it is, some of these teams are really good. Like, I'm sure it's a lock that Boston's not going to run away with the league.
No, they're coming back down to earth.
But can they be a playoff team?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure
exactly. So, again, who's coming out, who's getting in?
Can you picture a world where both Buffalo and Ottawa get in? And that includes the wild card.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I do. But again, who comes out?
I don't have that answer, but it doesn't matter who comes out.
It's
if
a
they're
tough
getting in.
deal
Maybe
for
it's
a
the
19
Islanders,
or
like-
20-year-old kid, however old that Levi kid is, to take that team into the playoffs if he's going to play 55 games.
Is that the plan? He's going to be the number one?
I mean, it's
Because I'll say this, if he is and he's a stud and they get in, Bedard better watch himself for the Rookie
he's
of
a
the
good
year.
young goaltender, but I still think they might be sniffing for a vet.
What?
Like he's.
I'm
well,
talking
well,
Rookie of the Year. I'm talking Rookie of the Year voting.
Yeah, I mean,
Like he would qualify as a rookie.
absolutely.
Like if he drags Buffalo into the playoffs and plays outstanding, you don't think he'd get as many votes as
Why do you refuse to admit the automatic?
I'm just
This
saying.
guy is just like Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid. They're going to come in and take the league by storm, and he's going to win Rookie of the Year, and he's going to do all those things. But for some reason with this guy, you're in
Well,
toilet mode again.
he's
Porta
not
potty.
with
You're a
Bedard.
porta potty today.
I'm not
Playing
with
the
Bedard.
field.
I'm saying the field. All I'm saying is it's been handed to Bedard. It's never that easy. McDavid got hurt. He didn't win Rookie of the Year. Sid
Right.
didn't win Rookie of the Year.
right.
So, not every all-time great player just steps in. And it's not that he wouldn't still have a great year. I'm just saying, if I painted a picture saying a young rookie goalie dragged Buffalo in with an unreal statistical season, that's going to get a lot of love. That's
I
all I'm
got
saying.
one guy for you that isn't on anybody's radar, and he played 24 games last year, so I believe he would fall under the
Rookie
Calder
of the year?
rules. Yeah, Evangelista in Nashville.
That's your guy. That's your
Yeah.
under the radar guy.
Luke Evangelista. He's a player.
Okay,
Kid, all I hear about is that he's a player.
and that would qualify.
He played 24 games last year, had 15 points, but kid's 21. The kid can play. That's all I hear is
all
the kid can play.
that matters.
He's gonna get a lot of top notch. Like they let Duchesne go. Like I think he's gonna be like one of their top tier players.
Well, listen, the obvious picks are McDavid wins the Hart, Bedard wins Rookie of the Year, Makar wins the Norris. Like, of course.
yeah.
But that's not pro sports. Like, it doesn't work that way.
I think
all the time.
your boy Hedman might have a bounce back as far as statistically.
I could see that.
But everyone
as well.
thinks, Tampa's going to take a step back. What if they're well rested and feel pretty good about their game? That's another.
It's tough
thing,
to
too.
see Tampa not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like
I just think
I
that the
assume
spine
they're
of that
gonna
team
make
is
it.
too good.
Yeah.
You know,
But if they don't, that'll make that Steven Stamkos chat. Whoa, will that get loud? Imagine they're out of the playoffs at the deadline. Would he be flipped?
I don't know. I think he's a lifer there. I really do. I think
That comment you made is not even in the realm of possibility as of right now.
boy, he's
The porta potty strikes again. Like this
No,
guy's
it's not
a
the
joke.
porta potty.
You are.
You're the porta potty, dude. That's a legitimate chat to have. If they're 5 points out of the playoffs at the deadline and he's not signed long term, you don't think the insiders are going to be asked about Steven Stamkos' availability?
well, he might make a bunch of noise too.
I want to
sure
do a
he's got a
porta. I
full
want to
no
do.
move, no
I
trade.
want to do a porta potty segment. And Hayes, I want like an animation of Hayes driving the truck with all the porta potties on the back, and he drops them off at whatever thing he wants to dump it on.
Guy
I
dump.
want it.
I'm down for that. Let's do it. Let's have I'll be the porta potty guy.
So
I'm the only one
we
that's
make a
sensible. I'm
sta-
the only one with stones. According to you, McDavid wins the Hart every year. Bedard's going to win the Rookie of the Year. Everything's
no,
great. And
All I do is drop knowledge. That's all.
No,
it's not,
you,
it's not,
you play
no.
the favorites.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You play the favorites.
I don't mind being the contrarian. I just try to, figure out. I don't mind playing the field. Like I just talked about
Yeah.
Evangelista kid. Like
When
I
in
think
doubt,
he's-
play the field.
right? But I mean, odds are that Connor Bedard is
Absolutely.
going to win the Rookie of
course
the
he's
Year.
the favorite.
Odds are that McDavid is going to.
Of course he is. That's not a porta potty take. That's an obvious take.
Yeah, but you're just taking the field, right?
I'm taking the field.
I
don't
thi-
think there's
I
anything
think the
wrong
Norse-
with that.
Daryl from Porta Potty Express.
Yeah. Well,
On the
Stamkos
horn.
one is 100% legit. I'm sorry. The fact that they didn't even talk to him all summer, and now there's legitimate people in this industry saying, I don't know what's going on down there.
Did you read his statement? I thought Brisebois' statement was brilliant. They, like he said, he's a big part of it. We're just trying to figure out our situation. Like, we'll get it done. Like, he was very matter of fact. He released a statement like the day after.
No, I understand.
And
I don't think
I thought his statement was very fair.
I think it's fair, but it doesn't point to a picture that it's mandatory this guy stays.
Yeah.
Like, what did Tree say when it came to Austin Matthews? It wasn't, we're going to figure it out. He's got a year left. It was like,
yeah.
we're signing this guy.
Yeah, well,
and
that
then we'll
was-
figure everything else out.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't hear that with Stamkos. It wasn't like, we're signing him and then we'll
we
figure
should
out
break
what
down his
happens.
statement tomorrow. We'll do that.
The porta potty, you know where it stops tomorrow? In Tampa.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And St. Thomas, possibly. Leafs,
See how it
Sabres
goes.
tonight.
Easton Cowan.
Maybe
first
down
start
at the
tonight.
Rogers Center,
Yeah.
right? We got Lambeau Field under the lights tomorrow night. Battle of the Beast of the NFC North. I can't wait for that game. All right, we're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
Easton Cowan. Welcome to Toronto, 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.